Hey everyone, Eskii here again with some more Overwatch workouts. Have you ever wondered where to go next when you're attacking? Or where it's best to hold on maps that have a lot of verticality? Today we'll answer both of these questions, as well as how to fully take advantage of these positions and high ground. But first, let's do a small example with Numbani for our warm-up. Our first example, I want you to try and figure out what position you should take as a DPS on first point defense Numbani. Note that this is before the round even starts and you're just setting up. It's important to note that when I say DPS in this example, I mean any mid to long range hero, like Ashe, Hanzo, and Soldier. There are no wrong answers, but be sure to remember what you answered with, because we'll be coming back to this later. Ever since Star Wars, it's been said that high ground is superior to low ground. But why is that? Surely it doesn't provide that much of a severe difference, right? Wrong. In most anything that requires a positional advantage, high ground is superior. This is because using high ground, you can create a natural cover for yourself, allowing you to have the advantage firing at the enemy while having a safe space to fall back to, even throw objects over, like TNT, Junkrat bombs, or Sigma rocks. Here is an example using Gibraltar first point. While standing on this box, you can see the entirety of the low ground both in front of you and behind you, as well as if you're under fire, you can simply back up to break that line of sight, making you unable to be shot. With dive heroes like Winston, D.Va, and Wrecking Ball, these high grounds can be used to set up an attack before the fight starts. This is known as staging. It's important to do this, because if you're able to fall onto your target instead of having to use a cooldown to get there, you can either use that ability to chase someone who is low, or more than likely, use the ability to jump back to safety of the high ground. Let's look at Numbani first point defense and see how this works. When Winston stands on the high ground to the right, we're able to cover every entrance that the enemy might come from. If they come down the main route to point, you can drop on them, do your damage, and if you feel like you're pressured, you can jump back up to the safety of your high ground. This is a very easy example because the high ground is apparent here. But this can be used with several different types of high grounds, so don't be afraid to experiment with your staging. The hardest part of understanding high ground, I feel, is when to take it from an enemy. If you're attacking on a lot of these vertical maps, it can feel like a literal uphill battle. But how do we fix this? Remember when we talked about how if someone gets pressured on high ground, they have to back up or they get eliminated? During that time that you can't see them, is the time where you should be moving closer to that position. Now why would we do this? If we use our first drill as an example, we can see that our LOS, or line of sight, can see everything in front of us, but it can't see directly below us. We can't really peek this angle without opening ourselves up to the entire enemy team. It is important to keep this in mind because the closer we are, the harder it will be for them to hold that high ground. Alright, remember when I said we'd be coming back to our warm-up? Well, here it is. Where do you put yourself on Numbani first defense? Does it line up with all the drills we covered? It's important to remember that we also talked about Winston positioning on this map, so you could use that for your hint. I'll be showing 3 pictures of what could be good high ground for a DPS that has range. If you need to take your time, feel free to pause the video to think. Have you locked in your answer? While all of these are good high grounds to use, I think B is the correct answer. This is because with this high ground, you're able to see both high grounds as well as the point and route below. This is also very important because not only do you have cover from the low ground, but if you get jumped by a Winston and can't stay on your high ground, you can drop down to the ground to the left of point, making more space from the enemy for you to escape from. With that, we've reached the end of our workout. Remember, if you want to VOD review, talk Overwatch, or just hang out, feel free to contact me on the Game Gym Discord. I hope to see you in the next video.